Good morning, everyone. As I have previously stated in regard to the City of Uniontown and surrounding areas, the Mon Valley Safe Streets Task Force comprised the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Pennsylvania State Police, Uniontown, and Uniontown Police, some of whom are county detectives, and I and my office have been working together for several months on a major investigation in Fayette County. On March the 8th, 2023, members of the Uniontown Police and Pennsylvania State Police were dispatched to Cells Inn on North Gallatin Avenue in Uniontown, Pennsylvania, in regard to a shooting, which culminated in a double homicide. At that time, Uniontown Police found two males laying on the floor in Cells Inn. Each individual had been shot, and each individual was deceased. Those individuals were Tommy Stargell and Daryl Gregg Jr. Prior to the shooting, Gregg Jr. and Daryl Truly Jr. had been arguing with each other. Gregg had a firearm in his right hand. He approached the front door of the bar where Truly was, and at that time he also had a firearm in his right hand. Going back, Gregg had been involved in an argument with Truly, and Tommy Stargell came to try to break up the argument and fight. At that time, however, Tommy Stargell was shot and killed. At that time, then, when Truly was at the entrance to Cells Inn, as I've said, he had a firearm in his right hand while standing in the entrance lobby. Truly then started firing at Gregg Jr. and two females standing near Gregg. A witness has ID'd Truly as the shooter of Gregg Jr. The witness also indicated that Truly and Gregg had been arguing prior to that shooting. Daryl Truly Jr. then fled the scene. He has not been apprehended as yet and is considered armed and dangerous. I'm going to be giving you a photograph of Daryl Truly Jr. It's his mugshot. Well, it's a shot off JNet. And we would ask if anyone knows where he is or has information that would lead to the apprehension and capture of Daryl Truly Jr. to please contact the Uniontown Police. And the phone number is 724 430 2929. Or contact the Pennsylvania State Police at 724-439-7111. The charges against Truly Jr. are homicide, firearm not to be possessed by a felon, firearm not to be carried without a license, recklessly endangering, 3 counts, and simple assault. Furthermore, on Friday, March the 10th, 2023, as the district attorney, I filed a lawsuit against Thomas Elias and Maureen Elias, owners of Cells Inn, at 277 North Gallatin Avenue, Uniontown, Pennsylvania. At that time, the lawsuit is in regard to shutting down Cells Inn as a nuisance bar. It also concerns the operation of the Cells Inn as a nuisance bar. I have a complaint that we have filed, which I'll provide a copy of it to you, but so that you know, it's 235 pages long approximately. This is the complaint. There are 6 violations, serious violations, that the LCB has filed, and 74 incidents involving the Uniontown Police or the Pennsylvania State Police, wherein it was for things such as threats to kill people in the bar, thefts, recklessly endangering another person, domestic violence. In addition, it culminated in the 2 murders that occurred last week on Wednesday morning at approximately 1 o'clock in the morning. At that time, at 1 o'clock in the morning, Uniontown, as I've said, and Pennsylvania State Police had been dispatched to that location for the killings of both Tommy Stargell and Daryl Gregg. As a result of that, there's been an investigation, obviously, into that. There has been videos that show who shot whom, and as a result, Daryl Truly Jr. was charged with those charges. Now, very bluntly, this establishment called Cells Inn has been a nuisance bar for quite a long time. The Pennsylvania State Police, the Uniontown Police, Liquor Control Enforcement, which is a division of the Pennsylvania State Police, have been cooperating with my office in regard to providing the information for the complaint against Cells Inn and the Eliases. As a result of that, then, we have a motion that is going before the court tomorrow for a preliminary injunction to shut down Cells Inn until we have a permanent injunction in place. Now, that's basically what has been happening in the last week in regard to the incident back on Wednesday, the 8th of March. And then as a result, it's culminated in the lawsuit being filed. Anyone have any questions?
Is there any indication on where Truly might be at this time? Do you have any news on where people should look out for him?
I am not going to get into the information about what we know about where his whereabouts are or anything in regard to the attempt to capture him.
I believe state police on scene told one of our crews not long after this happened that they didn't describe it as a nuisance bar, saying the owners are cooperative and things like that. Why the change now?
Wait a minute. The owner was cooperative that night. All you need to do is look at this lawsuit, this right here. For example, from paragraphs 10 through paragraphs 95 set forth incidents that have occurred in the last approximately 3 to 4 years. There are incidents, and you have all the reports that you can look at in this. I'm not going to go through it and explain all of it, but it involves, just because that night the owner cooperated doesn't mean this is it. LCE was just in my office this morning, which is a division of the Pennsylvania State Police, discussing what we're going to be doing about shutting them down tomorrow morning. And then we have to have another hearing in regard to the permanent injunction. So just because somebody comes out and says, yes, we'll cooperate, first off, let's be very blunt about it. He wanted inside the crime scene. We would not let him in. We took everything in there in regard to videos. He didn't want us to go through the place, and we told him if he didn't, we'd get a search warrant and kick the doors down. That's when he cooperated. Let's make it perfectly clear. We had to tell him, we don't care if you cooperate. We will get a search warrant and we'll kick your doors down. Now, wouldn't you cooperate then if you didn't want your doors kicked down? Yes. So that's the kind of cooperation we got. It was a forced cooperation. I also have copies of the complaints I'll give you. I have copies of the criminal complaint, and I have copies of the lawsuit that was filed. Any other questions?
Rich, how important is it to your office to shut down these facilities that harbor like all these violence and crimes that go on? How important is it for your office to take care of these entities and shut them down?
Well, it's very important from the standpoint that this is a neighborhood. There are people who live out there. There are people that are impacted about the operation of this bar every night. We just had an incident down the street, very close to it, in another bar where there was a homicide. This is not the first time there's been violence up at this bar. There's been shootings, there's been drug deals, on and on and on. That needs to be stopped in that neighborhood. And we are taking a very aggressive approach to that. Anything else? All right. Thank you very much. Oh, you know what? One thing before you go. This is Daryl Truly, Jr. That's Daryl Truly, Jr. I have copies for every one of you. All right? So I would ask you put this out there We want to capture him. He's considered armed and dangerous. He left with a gun. And he ran from a scene where 2 people were killed. Anything else?
Could you just spell his name for
I'm sorry, sir. It's Truley. And his first name is spelled Daryl.
Thank you.
And it's Junior. Actually, the whole name is Daryl, Daryl, Maurice, Maurice, Truly, Truley, Jr.
Where's he from?
He's from Uniontown. Yes, sir. His date of birth is 9/11/1990. So he's 32 years old. Any other questions? None? Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.